So the uncanny valley, it's not a new phenomenon or a new idea. In fact, it was first coined in the 1970s by a Japanese professor by the name of Masahiro Mori. And it's this idea that as robots become more and more lifelike, more and more human-like, then us as human beings, we display and feel a greater affinity to them and with them until suddenly we don't. It's like the more lifelike the robots become, more human like they become, we like them and we like them and we like them, and then suddenly just razor sharp, it's like, phew, we don't like them at all. It's not just like a little change, like, oh, I don't really like it. It's like, oh, it's creepy, it's weird, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. I'm very unhappy. Um, and that's a really interesting thing because that is gonna have consequences and effects in terms of technological development, right? So if we agree that the uncanny valley is a true phenomenon that does exist, and inevitably every human being will feel uncomfortable with a robot of a certain caliber or type, then what would be the incentive for anyone to fund the research that go into developing that robot? Why would any company choose to ever produce that product? So arguably there would be an opportunity where human feelings and human attitudes about technology grind technological development in along one particular avenue just to a complete halt. Now, one of the things to remember about the uncanny valley is that it's not a scientific concept per se. It's not a scientific theory that has proven to be true. It's more of an observation, a thought experiment, a concept. And people have criticized it for not being scientific enough, but if you read the work by Mori, he never claims that he carried out any scientific experiments to prove that it's true. One of the other things that has been said about the uncanny valley is that it's probably not just one thing. It's probably a combination of many things, many different types of phenomena coming together. And there's also some thought around this idea that it's really people who have less experience, are less familiar with robots, for whom this uncanny valley is more likely to manifest. I think this idea that robots can become so lifelike that they creep us out is a really interesting one. And I want you to kind of keep that at the back of your mind as we get to the last two documentaries of the lecture. Because I would sort of argue that as we watch them, the overarching feeling that we get from this is like, actually, the more lifelike the better, and it's really an absolute human like appearance and behavior that these engineers are really striving for.